Hey guys, welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And on today's episode, we are going to be going over
1978's Halloween, directed by John Carpenter.
Oh my goodness. Am I excited?
I'm sure you are.
This is my favorite horror movie of all time.
It is a great movie. It's one of the movies that gets a lot of credit for helping to establish the slasher portion of horror.
Yeah, it really gets a lot of the credit.
Yeah. There were obviously movies before that.
Obviously.
But yeah, it gets a lot of the credit.
Multiple movies. But this is Josh's favorite horror movie of all time.
This episode's all about you.
All about me
and your fandom for Halloween.
All about me and my fandom of Halloween.
You excited?
I am very excited.
All right, well, let's get into it. I got a question for you to start off.
But first,
before we do begin, do not forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.
Pretty please.
Also, you can find us on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Also on Instagram, J Squared Horror Podcast. Linktree in the bio. New episodes every Thursday.
Every single Thursday, where we release beautiful content for all you horror fans out there and everything in between. So, Jake, what was your question you had for me, bud?
Well, now that we got the episode started off on the right foot here.
Yes, sir.
Question would be, why Halloween? Of all the horror movies out there, why Halloween?
Because Halloween is one of those movies that doesn't have to go so above and beyond to make you interested.
What do you mean?
All right. So, Halloween did something that, in my opinion, no horror movie has done before or since its creation.
Okay.
Meaning that in Halloween 1978, because of multiple factors, and John Carpenter being the director, I do believe, the low budget in this instance really works out in favor of the movie.
Okay.
Versus it losing everything because of a low budget. You didn't need all the blood, as much sex, as much nudity, as much of a freaky mask, as much of a freaky weapon. Mm-hmm. It was very realistic for the boogeyman, which is very nodded at during this entire franchise, in particular this movie. The boogeyman works in the shadows. He is basically just an entity that can creep up on you and attack you. So because of a lot of those reasons and the ability to do it so well with such a low budget, this movie cannot be touched for me.
Okay. One of the aspects I always enjoyed about it is, one, no blood.
There is, other than the scrape on Laurie Strode's arm, when she gets grazed by the blade later on in the movie.
Which was going to happen, but yeah.
That's the only instance of red blood throughout this entire film.
So to me, it gave it like an artistic kind of feel.
It gave me an Alfred Hitchcock vibe.
Really? Okay.
I mean, think about Psycho. When they did that shower scene, it wasn't red blood.
Well, it's in black and white, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you did a full color horror film with minimal blood.
True.
So one of the most exciting things for Halloween for me, God, I hope this isn't like a 5-hour long episode. So since the podcast and since my super nerdness of horror, I've tried to dive into like what the thought process was of making a film like Halloween. And, you know, there's simple things throughout this entire film where it's like, so, you know, the street view with the cars parked in the driveways, how there's like very few. Mm-hmm. I think it's like John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's like cars parked in the driveways because they could not afford to put multiple vehicles in multiple driveways in the shooting of this movie. So it gives you a very eerie feel, but not intentionally. It was unintentional just due to a low budget.
I mean, I never thought about that. I just thought, well, they're in school, so the parents are at work.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Which could be.
Yeah, you can easily dumb it down to like so many different. It's Halloween night. Parents are out.
Yeah.
Maybe parents are going out to party themselves. Maybe this, that, and the third. That's why they have so many babysitters. That's why they have so many this.
You gotta have babysitters.
But like, it was $300,000
to make this movie.
And it made millions upon millions. And I think other than like obviously like Saw and like Paranormal Activity, this was the one that stood the test of time of low budget versus gross income.
Okay.
And like for this to be like, yes, John Carpenter has done so many amazing things. I'm not saying like The Thing is great, and so many of his other movies are great.
I love.
I know you love you love what?
John Carpenter.
I know you're a big John Carpenter fan,
but
Halloween doesn't necessarily top your list.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't, which is very interesting to me because like this is the movie for me personally. Like I get it. Like you've been into horror a little bit longer than me. You have an appreciation for The Thing. Yeah. Right? The Thing is unbelievably amazing, but the budget was so much higher. Yeah. So for me as like this like guy that like struggled to get into horror, that like really needed a movie that could bring him into the horror community, not needing to be so terrified. Yeah. And yet, like we just talked about to a bartender tonight, Michael Myers still creates this eerie fear in people. Like just Michael Myers himself. Like our bartender tonight at the bar when we were preparing for this episode told us she is still to this day terrified of Michael Myers.
Yeah, it's just that face, that blank expression mask.
Yeah, it's the
fact that he doesn't talk, just the mask and the way he moves.
Yeah,
that itself, to me, one of the scenes that always stuck out to me was when they are over at the house where Laurie's babysitting, and they look across the street.
Yeah.
And he's just like standing in the driveway.
Yeah.
He's not moving.
Not moving.
He's just standing there. That, to be able to invoke horror and fear in something so small.
Yeah. It's pure
very
art.
Impressive.
It's pure art.
It is, yeah.
And didn't you, I think you told me or something we were watching. It was like when they looked across the street at Michael Myers, wasn't that Deborah Hill?
Yeah.
Like they used multiple people. Mm-hmm. Like it was so low budgeted that not one stuntman or one actor or actress played Michael Myers.
Yeah, I think it was like 4.
It was like
different people,
3 or 4 different people throughout the filming of the original 1978. Yeah. Nick Castle obviously gets the shape.
Yeah,
like he was a cameraman that they were like, "Hey, dude, can you like throw on this mask a couple of times and like just like stand awkwardly behind a bush?" Like that to me is so beautiful in horror.
Yeah, well, I feel like Nick Castle gets credit for like the walk of Michael Myers.
He gets the shape.
Whole like the aura of him is.
And then Tony Moran was the only face of Michael Myers.
2 seconds,
and it's like like it gets pulled up, and he looks like, no offense, but like he looks kind of special. It gives you very much like Jason, but Jason Voorhees wasn't created yet. Yeah. But like today, when you compare like killer to killer, immediately like part of you thinks like, what is wrong with his face? It's like
he's a little off. He may appear,
yeah,
but Tony Moran can how his face looks.
And then you have Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. Mm-hmm. Where she was given like a couple $100 to go find some clothes, and that's how she got her outfits for Halloween.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she was given like money to just go pick out some clothes for this role.
Top notch job.
And then it catapulted her into this massive stardom to where in October of 2022, we are all looking forward to our finality between Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers. Yeah. That is how iconic this movie is. It's been 40 plus fucking years.
Yeah.
And they've done it to a sense that works for the fans. You might not love everything about it. I get that.
Of course not. Yeah.
But the fact that Laurie Strode Jamie Lee Curtis herself, and Nick Castle from the fucking originals are still participating in portraying their characters in the newest films 40 plus years later. Pure fucking art.
See, one of my favorite characters from Halloween is...
Who is it?
Dr. Sam Loomis.
I did not think you were going to say Loomis. You know who I thought you were going to say, don't you?
Who?
PJ Souls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to meet PJ Souls.
Yeah, so not to go off on another convention tantrum here, but the amazing PJ Souls did totally...
See what you did there?
What I did there? She did totally sign some pictures for us, but also she graciously took a dual selfie, so to speak, picture with me and Jake.
Yeah.
This is a couple months before we even started the podcast, but she was the sweetest lady. And I remember she was like, have you guys seen the new one yet? And I was like, yeah, I've seen it 3 times in theater. And she was like, what is wrong with you? Like, that is a brutal movie. And I was like, excuse me, ma'am, but like the picture I just got signed of you is getting strangled by Michael Myers by a phone cord. So I think I'm kind of fucked up in the head to begin with. But PJ Souls was a sweetheart. But all right, so sorry to take you on this tangent, but what about Dr. Loomis in the original? Because I think in 1 and 2, Dr. Loomis is like in his prime, and then they kind of go off with this other thing. So we're talking about Halloween 1978, and what about Dr. Loomis in 1978 excites you so much? Because we've had extensive conversations about Dr. Loomis over the years of our friendship, and let the fans know, like, what about Dr. Loomis excites you so much? Because it's a legitimate fandom.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's a doctor and likes to look at the psychological aspect of why Michael does what he does.
Yeah.
Or why he did what he did at that point.
Yeah.
As a child. In that point of reaching, I can't figure him out.
Yeah.
He is just pure evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it turns from wanting to figure him out, rehabilitate him if you can, to I need to save society from him. Yeah. And then just the path of him getting out of the institution, tracing him down to Haddonfield, the different people who interact with Loomis, who honestly, like Sheriff Brackett, don't believe him.
Yeah, they're not big fans of Loomis's theories.
Which I think, honestly, I wouldn't be either. And so if I had some doctor coming to my little small town where something happened years ago, this guy's been locked away, and you tell me now he's back all of a sudden?
15 years from lockup to escape.
And I say he's back all of a sudden? I'm not listening to that.
And then, like, the cool thing about Loomis is, like, he's just got a gun. He's like, fuck it, I'll take care of it myself. Yeah. And like, rolling around with cops with a gun, and he honestly does a way better job than all of the cops combined in Haddonfield. Yeah, but the Haddonfield Sheriff's Department is trash.
Yeah, he's best in Halloween 1.
Yes.
And 2.
Yes.
From then on, he's just portrayed as just some crazy old man.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Why they decided to do that, I will never know.
You take someone who's a respected doctor in his profession, who spent years working with Michael Myers.
Not only spent years of trying to figure out Michael Myers, but once Michael Myers escaped, he's in the forefront of trying to stop the monster.
Like, nah, I'm not buying this.
Yeah, then he just turns into this, cuckoo old man. Who
too much. So, some people rumor that Dr. Loomis is the same Sam Loomis from Psycho. What are your thoughts on that?
Are you really doing that to me right now?
Yeah.
All right. So, me and Jake had briefly talked about an idea for a book or a movie about the incredible Dr. Loomis.
You gotta give him all the details.
I'm not going to go into full detail, but I think you can tie Loomis, Sam Loomis, into. Here we go.
Okay.
We could start as Psycho.
Okay.
Halloween.
Okay.
And Scream.
Okay.
Because what's Billy's last name?
Loomis.
Okay. So, in my opinion, it could potentially be a grandson of the great Dr. Loomis that Billy Loomis is.
Okay. So in short, Loomis from Halloween is the same Loomis from Psycho.
Yes.
Okay.
It just, I'm not saying it was intentionally done.
Well, it honestly was, but
there's no way it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because also in Scream 2022, what was her name?
her last name was Carpenter.
But what was her first name?
What was her first name?
Wasn't it Sam?
Sam Carpenter?
Wasn't it Sam Loomis?
No.
Because she's Billy Loomis's daughter?
I guess technically she is a Loomis, but her last name was Carpenter.
I know, but wasn't her first name Sam?
Yeah. So technically
But she was the daughter of Billy Loomis.
So
technically speaking,
also Sam Loomis.
all the way up until Scream 2022, they still made a tie to my man, Sam Loomis. So yes, I think that, like, in a sense, like, horror fans that have been fans, whether it's since or just watch Psycho, can use that and be like, fucking Sam Loomis.
Yeah, Sam Loomis lives on forever.
Sam Loomis lives on forever. So, how do you feel about the whole Boogeyman, Michael Myers in the original? Because as the years go on, honestly, as a humongous Halloween fan, they take a big fat dookie all over Michael Myers, from the mask to the look to the kills from this. But fuck that. We're talking about Halloween 1978. What do you think that they did so differently in 1978 versus some of the other post 3, because 3 doesn't have Michael Myers in it. So 4 on, other than 18, the original series of Michael Myers. Where do you think they went so wrong with it? Was it with...
I'll tell you where they went wrong.
Okay.
They went wrong trying to give so much backstory.
Yes. I agree.
And I know they said in the original script he was just referred to as the Shape.
The Shape. Yep.
Which is great to me.
So good.
The fact that his name is Michael Myers,
irrelevant.
Honestly, I could do without it.
Yeah.
Just refer to him as the Shape or the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
He personifies the idea of what a boogeyman would be.
Yes.
Someone who lurks, someone who's out to get you, that you cannot kill, you cannot get rid of. And why he's doing it, you have no idea.
Yeah. So
he's just doing it just to do it.
Yeah. It's the fear. It's ultimately the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, it is.
Where a lot of times they spend a lot of too much time building up backstories for these killers.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the Shape, who we know as Michael Myers over the years, if they could have just... Because, honestly, from 1978, 2018 Halloween Kills, if they never mentioned his name, it doesn't change the fact of what the fuck he's done.
Yeah.
Like, the Myers thing became a big thing after 2, and then they went fucking weird with 4 and beyond.
Yeah.
There was like a cult, there was like a bunch of other stuff, but like the Shape from 78 is way more terrifying than where it went with the original post 2 movies.
Yeah. I like the idea of the Shape just being just a Haddonfield legend.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that. I don't need to know his name, where he originated from, why he did what he did. But you honestly could tell the story. There was a young kid who killed his sister, got put away, broke out one night on Halloween, and murdered some babysitters. Yeah. And just refer to him as the Shape.
The Shape.
Yeah.
Because
that feeds into the whole boogeyman aspect.
Yeah.
Giving him a name, gives him human qualities to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely. I mean, ultimately, from a Halloween fan, I want to punch you in the fucking face, like right now on the podcast, because you just made so much fucking sense.
Well, good.
And we don't like sense. We just we just like the idea of Michael Myers being the baddest motherfucker to ever exist. But ultimately, you're absolutely correct. So in 1978, I think the main reason why he was called the Boogeyman was from Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
Where he's like, the boogeyman's outside the boogeyman. And Laurie Strode's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, go to bed, you little kid. Because a kid that age would see a costume of that and be freaked out. Especially if it's just standing across the street.
That's terrifying.
In a driveway. Not trick-or-treating, just late as shit.
And you know he was looking right at Tommy. You know he was.
Like, looking into his soul.
You know he was for a fact.
I get that. And then, like, you know, he's got the kills. It's the babysitter thing. There's, like, you know, he killed his sister who was supposed to be babysitting him. So you can, like, go on all these stupid fucking tangents. But ultimately, I think, unfortunately, this fucking Friday the 13th fan over here is right. Like, you need to give Michael Myers slightly less, and it would make him so much more. Because when they started tying in the sister thing with Laurie Strode and all of that stuff, like, it almost loses its appeal, because then he's just like a pissed off brother after his sister, and that's why he killed the other babysitters.
Yeah, so to me, bringing in the whole Laurie Strode brother-sister thing, it makes no sense, one.
Yeah.
But two, I preferred him just being just on the loose, just killing for no reason.
Yeah, there doesn't always have to be a motive.
Yeah.
Which makes these monsters much more terrifying.
I feel like that, to me, is what separates someone from being like a serial killer who's like targeting certain
like
people.
Specifics.
Yeah. Or just a legit monster.
Just
who is just
beast.
killing just to kill.
Yeah.
No reason behind it.
That is why I have clung on to, with my dear fucking life, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills. I've gravitated to that so hard.
What do you mean?
Because they completely got rid of the idea that it was a sister thing. Even though the Karen in Halloween Kills thinks that it's after her mother, it was certain that was the reason that Michael Myers even came close to the Strodes.
Which goes back to the original thought of there's no reason behind this.
So that's what I'm saying. The reason why I cling on so hardly and I'll let a lot of shit slide in this new era of Halloween is because he is ultimately just a killing machine.
Yeah.
With no motive, no reason, no nothing. He's just a fucking beast that stabs you in the neck with a light bulb.
But you know when Halloween ends, we're going to get a reason.
Listen.
Just so you know.
Listen.
There's going to be a reason why now.
Listen, Linda. All right? I know they're going to try to do some bullshit in Halloween Ends. We talked about it. We had our ideas. If you guys go back a couple of episodes, we definitely went on like a 45-minute, both of us tangenting on what we think is going to happen on Halloween Ends. But the 78 Michael Myers, to a guy like myself, is the most terrifying and well done monster or horror villain of all time.
Okay.
Because Michael Myers has his mom, Jason Voorhees has his mom, Freddy Krueger has his past, Candyman has his past. You know, you think of the Scream, there's multiple, so you can't even consider him a single entity. Yeah. You know, Michael Myers, if they would have just fucking stuck with the like original vibe, which is what they're doing now, which is cool, but like I honestly feel like he is the most terrifying monster of the batch because I mean, if you're not in Haddonfield, like, you don't technically have to worry. But, like, if you're in Haddonfield, like, watch the fuck out. Because if you're in his path to get to his house, which I'm sure we'll figure out in Halloween Ends, what the hell that's all about, I don't care. I love Michael Myers. The fact that it's a William Shatner mask with eye holes cut out deeper, spray painted white. Like, everything about what they did in 78 just blows my mind, because unless you're like a super horror fan, the Michael Myers mask is the Michael Myers mask. You will never expect that it's a William Shatner mask from Star Trek that they just changed.
I always wondered
they modified
if William Shatner gets royalties from that at all.
Probably not, because
but technically it's his face.
Technically speaking, if they didn't alter it, I think it could be.
But here's the thing, though. Once someone tells you that's William Shatner's face, you can't unsee that.
You can't.
So it is his face still.
It is still his face.
You may alter the eyes and the
like
sideburns, whatever, but it's still his face.
What, they like cut the sideburns off and then cut his eyes out?
In essence, it's still his face.
Yeah. So, like, if I was, there's that.
I'd be banging on their doors.
Have you?
Backpack, you owe me right now.
So I just saw this funny, it was either a meme or like a TikTok or something, but it was that scene from, I think, Baby Driver, where it's like, I told you to get Michael Myers masks, and it's like, Mike Myers, like the guy that plays Shrek.
Yeah.
And it's like, I told you to get a Mike Myers mask. He's like, this is a Mike Myers mask. And he's like, a Halloween mask. He's like, this is a Halloween mask. And he's like, no, from Halloween. He's like, you mean the hockey mask? And they're like, no, the fucking mask from Michael Myers Halloween. It's a really funny scene. But a lot of people get those Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers. Even one time I saw an interview with Jamie Lee Curtis where she's like, where the guy interviewing her was like, do you get scared every time you see a hockey mask? And she just cuts a look at him like, are you fucking dumb? Like, are you seriously asking me that question right now? What do you think, if you could change one thing about 78 Halloween, what would you do? Or is it just good enough?
If I could change one thing, honestly, let's see. I really don't think I would change anything. I feel like the movie, from start to finish, it develops the characters well.
Yeah.
You get attached to all the characters.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that point where Laurie and Michael face off with each other, that whole scene in the house is amazing.
It's perfect.
Yeah. I feel like there's not much to change from that. And what's crazy enough is, even though it ends with Loomis shooting Michael off the balcony, him looking out, him not being there.
Yeah.
The way that movie ends, that could have been just one movie.
Yeah.
It didn't even require a sequel.
That is the beauty in that movie.
Yeah.
There's like, they talked about on Friday the 13th, like the guy popping out of the kid Jason popping out of the lake and everything. But you're thank you being a Friday the 13th fan.
But it's true because when Laurie and Loomis were talking, and then Laurie asked, "Is that the boogeyman?"
Yeah.
And he confirms that it is. The fact that you look down and he's not there makes total sense.
Yes.
He's the boogeyman.
He's the boogeyman.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
You cannot kill the boogeyman.
You can't.
So, all right. I agree with you, obviously. I mean, you're wearing the boogeyman shirt right now.
The boogeyman followed me home.
The boogeyman followed me home. I'm pretty sure you bought that in Kentucky when we were at the convention, and you were super stoked on it.
I was.
Which, me being a Halloween fan, I was like, yes, my Friday the 13th guy understands. So I'm going to ask you first, on a scale from 1 to 10, rating Halloween's 1978 by John Carpenter, where would you rate this movie?
9.5.
Okay. We are on 100% agreement on that.
Okay.
I will never give anything a perfect 10 because I haven't seen every movie ever.
I mean, the only perfect 10 I've ever seen is,
no.
Jason
You didn't even give that a perfect 10.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to go back on the footage and watch.
And that didn't explain why.
Yeah.
Because it's a given.
I do give Halloween 1978, myself being a big Halloween fan, this mask right here is technically his, but it's always above my head, so it looks like it's mine. I give Halloween 1978 a 9.75. It made me the horror fan I am today. It was the first horror tattoo that I decided to do on my horror sleeve. Michael Myers himself, when I dress up like him, so there was this one time, sorry, a little tangent here, but I used to work at a coffee shop, and it was Halloween day during the week where I was working. So I said, you know what, fuck it. Let me throw on my jumpsuit, my boots, and my fucking Michael Myers mask, right? So, it's every bit of 845 degrees inside of that mask. And, I'm working around these espresso machines and these coffee pots. It's so hot, right? But I decided, as a true fan, we've talked about this at conventions, like stay in fucking character if you're deciding to dress up as a person, right?
I agree, yeah.
So the big thing about pulling off a Michael Myers costume is minimal movements with maximum effect. So most adults that see you in a Michael Myers costume that have seen Halloween are going to be fucking terrified of you if you do 2 steps. 1, don't move. 2, if you decide to move, it's a simple head tilt. It freaks them out. I had multiple grown-ass customers that day decide to leave without their beverages almost.
Yeah.
Because they were so terrified by my portrayal of Michael Myers. Now, I am 6'2". Back then, I was a little bit thinner. So I pulled off the Michael Myers look. I could probably catch you back then, And, all the years I've dressed up until my mask got ruined. This exact same mask, we bought it from the same company. It resonates through adults. Kids will walk right up to you. Like, kids today don't know who the fuck Michael Myers is. But anybody from I'd say 17 to 50 is like, I don't really like this guy right now because he is portraying Michael Myers so well.
Yeah, that's kind of like when I would dress up as Jason for Halloween.
Yeah.
So I would just stand. There's a shopping center right behind the apartment, obviously.
Yeah.
I was staying at one end. And just the King Harley, the breathing. And just stand there. Never speak.
Yeah.
Never move.
Yeah.
So people are walking, because you're at the end. They have to walk past you.
Yeah.
And they're walking towards you. And then the main thing with King Harley, besides the breathing, is turning your head before you turn your body.
Yeah.
Fucks them up.
Yeah, dude. If you simply are wearing, you got the mask, you got the jumper, you got the boots, you got the blade, if you so choose. If you just look at them, right? That's it.
Yeah,
that's all it takes is Michael Myers.
The second you start to talk,
you can't.
Or you start motion to
you can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
It takes all the fear away.
All of it.
All of it, yeah.
So when I was trick or treating with my nephew, right, and he was dressed up as a ninja. Mm-hmm. I was dressed up as Michael Myers. My sister was like a scarecrow or something, right? And adults were running from me because even when I was walking around with my family, I had the Michael Myers just stride. That real cool, calm, collective stride. And then when you look at me, I don't speed up, but I will follow you until you forget that I'm following you and I'm just behind you.
Yeah.
It's great. It's the greatest feeling in the world as a horror fan to pull off your villain's vibe. Yeah, it truly is.
Even at conventions, we were at the Stu's party.
Yeah,
the dude who was Michael Myers at the table right in front of us.
Yeah,
I was listening to make sure he wasn't talking.
Yeah,
he never talked one time.
He never spoke. He did a pretty good job because.
But he had the hole in his mask, so he could still drink his beer.
He was still drinking his beer.
Yeah. But he would just move real slow.
Yeah.
And listen to her, then lean back in. He never talked.
And not to mention,
never took his mask off.
He was with some just 9.5s out of 10s.
Yeah, and the dude never reacted.
Never reacted. It was. I wanted to high five him, but he was in character.
Yeah, he wouldn't have reacted to it either.
I loved it.
He would just turn and looked at you.
Yeah, he would have just turned and looked at me. Yeah. And I would have given him mad props.
Yeah.
Because anybody that can pull off a Michael Myers look, to me, gets hella points. Now, we both know that at the same time as we give you praise for looking good at conventions, we will rip your costume apart at conventions.
There were a bunch of Jasons out there.
There were a bunch, and some Michaels out there that I was just not a fan of.
Not good.
Hey.
Not good. Also, scarecrows. They're, underestimated for being kind of scary.
Shut up. Stop it.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think a scarecrow is scary at all. A scarecrow is scary at all.
So I used to have a dream as a kid.
Oh my God, the Jake dreams.
So in my backyard, there'd be a scarecrow. And my neighbor next door, his name was Jack. He played golf all the time. Mm-hmm. He would occasionally hit balls into our yard.
Obviously.
I'd get them as a kid and toss them back over to his yard. I'd give them back to him. In my dream, he's out like midnight.
Yeah.
Hitting fucking golf balls. I look out the window and see the golf balls going over.
Yeah.
And there's a scarecrow in our backyard for some reason. And I would look, and every time I'd look out there, one part of the scarecrow is coming off the pole. So I'd look, and there's one arm hanging down.
Yeah.
I look, second arm's down.
Oof.
That's, a leg is off. The second leg was off. That's, he's gone completely. And I went outside. And I remember he would rush up behind me and grab me.
The scarecrow?
The scarecrow, yeah.
Ooh.
And he looked like the scarecrow from Batman the animated series. That was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
That was a kid.
So that would have been in your head. Yeah.
And he picks me up and puts me up on the pole. And as he's touching me, it's like,
hey.
It's like going.
So it's like that scary stories you tell in the dark.
Similar to that, yeah.
When that kid gets turned into basically a fucking scarecrow.
He's now putting me up on the pole.
And you're becoming the scarecrow.
And as I'm looking at him, I'm becoming a scarecrow, and he looks like me. And then he goes.
What?
And he goes back into the house. And then I wake up.
The fact we've heard multiple of Jake's nightmares as these episodes have gone on. The fact that you are so willing to be this into horror and just devote so much life to this scary side of shit, it blows my mind.
As a kid, I'd have the most intense nightmares.
That's great. I mean, I've heard 3 of them.
I would wake up just sweating and just panics all the time.
Dude,
my mom always told me, because you're watching things you shouldn't be watching.
Yeah. That she probably had on the TV.
I'm thinking in retrospect, well, turn it off then.
Yeah, your mom sounds
Don't let me watch it.
I've heard all these stories about your mom, and it sounds like she's like the dopest horror mom of all time. But yeah, as a kid, that's going to fuck you up.
Yeah, so you see me, turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off. All right, buddy. So I'm gonna hit you with a couple of trivia questions before the episode's over here, because I think that's a fun thing to do here at the end.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So we can embarrass ourselves on the microphones right before we get off.
All right, go ahead.
What 2016 M. Night Shyamalan film is about a kidnapper with 23 different personalities who's about to unleash the 24th?
Split.
Good job.
Okay.
Second question. What was the profession of the main heroine from the 1981 werewolf film, The Howling?
News reporter.
2 for 2.
Is that right?
2
oh,
for
shit.
2.
Okay.
2 for 2.
All right. Your turn. Okay. What 2014 film is based on a Hasbro board game?
I believe that is what is Ouija.
That is correct.
All right.
Or some people say Ouija.
Ouija?
It's weird, but okay.
Ouija.
What 2009 film followed a family who adopted a girl named Esther, this is easy, who wasn't what she seemed?
I do believe that would be The Orphan.
Yeah. So have you heard they're doing
making a prequel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there was some news story that happened in real life.
That story?
A family adopted some chick, or they thought was a girl who was like a grown woman, or at least a teenager, at least I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But then she claims she's not, and blah blah blah. That's terrifying.
That is, I mean, if you guys have ever watched The Orphan, whoa,
yeah,
that movie is crazy, and I'm very excited to see the original. Isn't it the original actress?
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think she's reprising a role in it.
She's a little old now, isn't she?
Yeah, but I think she's somehow in it.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. All right. Anything else you want to add to the Halloween 1978 episode?
I got one last question.
What's up, buddy?
What's your favorite kill from this movie?
My favorite kill from Halloween 1978 is the. It's kind of an easy one. the boyfriend that gets stabbed and hung as a decoration.
Okay, yeah.
What's yours?
Mine is when her name's Annie
Uh-huh.
is killed in her car.
Yeah.
Just that super terrible dead face she makes. I love it. And just her getting in the car and then noticing it's fogged up from the inside. Mm-hmm. And the second she touches that window, she's like, it's like she knows she's fucked.
Yeah, she's like, oh, damn it. I messed up.
That's probably my favorite one.
All right. Well, thank you guys, all you fans out there, for listening into my favorite horror movie of all time.
Yeah.
This was a fun one to do. Thank you to all of our fans and supporters out there supporting us every single week. Remember, you can find our content on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel and you made it this far in the video and you hadn't liked and subscribed yet off of Jake's recommendation earlier. Thank you.
Hopefully you made it this far, though.
Thank you to all the listeners on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for listening in. We appreciate you guys. Make sure to check out our Instagram, J Squared Horror Podcast. Our link tree is in the bio where we release new content every single Thursday. Big shout out to our main supporters, Jeff Balance, who did all of the design work. After every video now, we release a new image, our logo, so to speak. It is on the back of our new order of T-shirts.
It is. The shirt you have on right now.
The shirt I have on right now. I'm not going to turn around. For all of you local fans, remember this upcoming Saturday. So once this video is released, you have Thursday. What would that be? 2 days?
2 days. Yeah.
2 days. And we will be doing a live and in-person 80s horror trivia day. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. at Pale Horse Summit Point's location in Greenbrier. We will have all of our T-shirts available then. On the front is our typical J Squared Horror logo, and on the back is our Hip to Be Squared logo that this guy right here created in his head, and then our designer Jeff Balance knocked out of the park. The music that is on our intro and our outro is by Lucky Riggs. Thank you, Lucky, for doing all the music for us. We appreciate it greatly. That Hip to Be Squared / Hip to Be Square, Huey Lewis and the News song that we have after every episode, it's kind of mind-blowing how great it is. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you guys for tuning in every week. My name is Josh.
And I'm Jake.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the J Squared Horror Podcast. And remember, it's hip to be squared.